Jordan Marshall hasn't played in a while, has been ruled out. And what's his status, and is there a plan to kind of work him? Is it for him to come back at some point this year?
Yeah, so he had a lower body extremity deal that was going on, and continue to rehab that. He's going to be fine. Hopefully he'll be cleared here pretty soon, and kind of we'll see where it goes from there.
Ready to go?
So Kalel has taken on the lead back role in recent weeks. He's talked about how his mentality is the same. He's remained consistent. What have you seen out of him? How he's kind of embraced that extra time?
Yeah, I think, like he just said, he's kind of stayed steady and even keeled with things, and just got to make sure he's continuing to take care of his body because he's getting more reps than he's used to. And we've talked about this before, where he's got to be very diligent about how he's taking care of his body away from the field and during his off time and things like that. So. But he's been great. He's been great in the meeting room still and practicing his tail off. And so I'm very happy and pleased with the way he's handling his business.
Tony?
Yeah, wondering if you could speak to maybe some of the difficulties that are added to the running game when there's not a passing game.
Well, it's always it has its challenges, right? Where there's more people in the box, if you will, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult and challenging. But at the end of the day, we got to go do our job and, execute on the plays that are called.
Is that the message to Kalel? And not
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we are where we are, right? And we're continuing to get better, trying to continue to enhance our offense in the way that we can. And whatever the duty is, if you're called upon to do something within your job description, that's what you do. And no one cares. Listen, no one cares if there's more or less of a passing threat. You have a job to do. Go do your job.
Sorry, one more, Dave. Just on that, I guess, is there belief that Jack and his experience and the things that he brings to the offense will open this up? Because I know there was belief maybe one working theory was Alex and his legs could sort of open things up, but I think the lack of pass, it didn't prove out that way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously Jack presents some other issues as far as being able to throw the ball down the field for defenses, and obviously if you can push the ball down the football field, that'll help open up the run game. So yeah, we're excited about what Jack's been doing for a couple of weeks, and through the bye week and into this week. So we're excited to see where things are going.
On the left first.
Overall, how pleased are you with the protection from your backs in pass pro?
We could be better. I'm kind of a perfectionist that way as far as pass pro goes, and kind of a nut job about it. We've done a decent job, but we can be better. I think we can be more technically sound. They know that. I think Kalel in particular could do a better job with his hands, as far as his blow delivery and hand delivery and blow and strike. But he knows those things, and our players all know that. So we're continuing to work on it. It's a work in progress. We'll continue to try to enhance that as we move, but it's been okay.
On the right here, Andrew.
From your perspective, what will be the keys to having some offensive success on Saturday?
Score points. I mean, it's one of the keys. Well, we got to, first of all, in all sincerity, we have to take care of the football. We have to take care of the ball. Can't turn it over, so we have to respect the football in that regard. I think we've got like 12 turnovers on the season or something of that nature. Then we got to stay ahead of the chains. We can't have negative yardage plays and put ourselves behind the chains with, pre-snap penalties and just, self-inflicted wounds, if you will. So as far as the running backs go, we got to make sure that we're turning what is maybe a 2-yard, 3-yard gain into a 4, 5, 6-yard gain. And so we got to do a really good job of running through tackles, running through trash, making guys miss the second, third level of defense, and again, just stay ahead of the change.
On the right, Austin.
Tony, obviously there's always competition, but during the bye week, was there a sense of maybe a little deeper level of evaluation of guys in different places and personnel, either up front or other places?
Yeah, I think, when you have a bye week, an open week, if you will, there's evaluation of everything because you have time. And I'm a firm believer in that there's always that self-evaluation, daily self-evaluation, but holistically, when you have some time, you evaluate everything that you're doing from A to Z, to how you travel, how you eat, when you eat, how do you meet, how do I meet, what do I say in meetings, are things as productive as they need to be? And so there's always that evaluation, personnel changes or trying different things, and so all of that has transpired, yeah.
Charles?
Yeah, how has some of the reshuffling on the offensive line impacted the running game?
I'm sorry, say again?
How has some of the reshuffling on the offensive line impacted the running game?
Yeah, I think we're, again, working together. I think it's getting better. You know, there's some things, yeah, I mean, once again, backs just got to go do your job. You know, from the running back perspective, we can't concern ourselves with who's up in front of us, who's behind center. We just got to go do our job.
I'm going to left, Clayton.
Purdue and some others had some success against Illinois running the ball. What have you seen from their defense, and what kind of opportunities are there?
Well, I think they're there. I thought the guys at Purdue and some of those other teams, they did a good job as far as their backs ran hard, you know, and they strained to finish and things like that. And so I think there's some opportunities for us. You know, we got to go execute. And they're still talking about a very well-coached football team. You know, Brett Bielema and his staff, they do a great job. They've got some good players, and they've had some success, you know, doing what they're doing and feel good about it. So it's really just about executing your game plan and straining to finish, and hopefully things work out that way for us.
On the left, Ryan.
You've been coaching for a long time now. Have you ever seen...
Well, stop. No. So that's your way of saying I'm old.
No, you're experienced.
Yeah, I'm seasoned. All right, we'll go with that.
Have you ever seen a team purposely take a 12-minute on the field penalty before in your career?
I'm not going to talk about that. Anything to do with that, I ain't got nothing to do with that one. I got your question, but you're always trying that, though, but I'm good. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Come on the right here, Reiner.
Yeah, you came obviously from a
God,
program.
I appreciate it.
You came from a program that, you know, is known for high-powered offenses. What is it like to, you know, be in a situation where the offense, you know, is maybe not producing at the level that you expect?
Listen, at the end of the day, you're chalking up wins, right? And yeah, do you want to, I mean, for the fan base, whatever, to score 50, 60 points a game, great. But at the end of the day, are you winning games? At the end of the day, are you productive? And that means are you playing complementary football? And so that's really what I'm about, and I think what most programs should be about. But whatever it takes to win. If that means that it's more ground and pound or whatever the verbiage you want to use, or air raid, whatever it is, whatever it takes to win, that's what I want to do.
What's the tenor of the staff meetings, I guess, after these games? I mean, where, you know, maybe, you know, you guys aren't, you know, executing perhaps at the level that you.
Well, I think it starts with coaches, right? And oftentimes what's so that is, you know, what you see is what you coach, right? And with that being said, you know, that self-evaluation I was referring to earlier, that how, as far as the running backs go, again, that perspective, how can I help our players be better? You know, you look at, I'll just use the one run where Khalil was the lead blocker for Donovan, and the guy slipped off the block, tackles Donovan for like a 7-8 yard gain, whatever it was, something of that nature. But had we executed the block and finished the block, that thing might have scored it for 40. So are you mad at the kid? Or do I got to look at myself and say, all right, you know, I should have done another drill that would have forced him to, because he, instead of shooting his hands, he shot a forearm. The guy slid off the forearm. I got to do another drill that helps him use his hands and be more combative with his hands. And so that's the evaluation piece of how can I, as a coach, help put our players in a better position to perform and execute at a high level that we want them to. And then the players, on the other hand, have to self-evaluate and say, where can I be better? How can we be better? Am I watching enough film? Am I really straining in practice during these drills that we are doing? And so again, it's a self-evaluation for everybody, not just coaches, but for everybody within the program.
Do you guys feel like you guys are better in those kind of 20 personnel packages where you got?
We'll see. We'll see. You know, our objective is to try to get the best 11 players on the field at any given time. And in some situations, we feel that's what's best, and that we'll go with. If it's not, then we won't. You know, we'll go 12 personnel or 11 personnel, whatever it may be. And you know, I think game situations will dictate that.
Chris?
Donovan was kind of beating himself up about the hole where he slipped. It seemed like a slippery field, though. How much of that is on him? How much of that is just one of those things that happens?
Listen, he slipped. And there's a bunch of other guys that are playing on that same field. So we got to keep our feet. And, yeah, he slipped.
Got time for a few more? You have one? Angelique?
Tony, Kalel was talking last night about trying to find more consistency. That's one thing he thought was lacking on first and second down. And how do you improve that?
Consistency in regards to
Just getting those yards so you're on third and short versus third and long.
Yeah, I just think that just is attributed to just finishing runs, lower pad level, running your legs through contact, just things like that, and continually falling forward. I think every single play, and particularly in the run game, has a different tempo or timing to it. Are you where you need to be on time? The way inside zone, the tempo of that is vastly different than counter, and the ball being put in the right spot at the right time, as far as relationship and phase. So I would assume that's what he's referring to, as I didn't, hear what he said or how he said it, because I don't pay attention to their interviews like maybe I should. But yeah, I'd assume that's what he's referring to. And again, that just gets back to just the consistency of how we practice and making sure that we're honing in all the details all the time, very purposeful and intentional about the details of what we're doing.
And how do you use the backs? Obviously, there's a short yardage guy, something like that. But do you go by rhythm, like?
Yeah, I try to. I think when a guy starts getting hot and I can feel he's kind of getting going, just let him go, and let him go. But and again, just a lot of it is situational ball. Where we get into a goal line situation, there's more likely to be Kalel or Ben or whomever. But different situations dictate certain guys.
Got two more questions. We're going to start with Charlie and then finish with Tony.
I was going to ask sort of a similar question, but a lot of focus has been paid on the different attributes of the quarterback, maybe Alex rushing, Jack throwing. Is that something that you kind of view with Donovan and Kalel, like they offer different skill sets, use them in different packages? Can you kind of describe what that looks like?
Well, I think Donovan is more of a guy that you can put out in space and do some things as far as running routes. I think some of the more rugged, tougher yard stuff, probably more attributed to things that Kalel might be more suited for in certain situations. But the whole objective, again, is to make sure that we're trying to develop guys that are 3-down players, so that they can play every single down. And again, some guys are a little bit more better at this or that than others, and the key, again, is to put the best 11 guys on the field for that particular situation. But they have a little bit different skill sets. Both of them are high-end skill set guys, but they both do have some different skill sets, obviously.
Finish with Tony.
Yeah, coaches of play has been talking about the fine line between urgency and panic that's sort of been going on. I wonder if there's, as you try to lean toward the urgency side, I guess, is there any sense about, already 2 losses? Just
absolutely, there's urgency every day. Well, I don't think you're slipping away, but there's an urgency to get things done. There's an urgency to get out of bed, right? There's definitely an urgency to do things, and there's an urgency in how you meet and how much information can you deliver that we can take to the practice field from the meeting room, and then when you go, there's an urgency to get things done properly. And like you said, we've lost 2 games, and we are where we are, so there is definitely a sense of urgency to get this thing moving properly, quickly. Panic, no, but very, very urgent, and the players know that.